on the desk blotter. I get these kinds of cases every once in a while, though I stayed well clear of domestic disputes and spousal abuse cases when I was with Minneapolis PD. I have a temper, and by the time they asked for my shield back, I had 6 reprimands in my jacket for excessive force. At one of my IA hearings, the captain said he was disappointed that I showed no remorse for the last incident. I busted a child molester, and somehow, while the guy was, resisting arrest, he managed to get mauled and mangled a bit. The pedophile tried to spin some crazy shit that I sicked a dog on him. But I don't have a dog. I said that he got mauled by a stray during a foot pursuit. Even at my own hearing, I couldn't keep a smile off my face to save my job. Squeaked by on that one, but next time something like it happened. This time with a guy who whipped his wife half to death with an extension cord because she wasn't willing enough in the bedroom. I was out on my ass. He ran into the same stray dog. Weird how that happens, huh? Long story short, I already didn't have the warm fuzzies for her husband. We all have our buttons, and when the strong prey on the weak, all of mine get pushed. Did you go to the ER?
No,
she said.
It was never that bad. More humiliating than anything.
I nodded. What about after the divorce? He lay a hand on you since? She hesitated. Mrs. Skye? I prompted.
He tried. He chased me, twice.
Chased you? Tell me about it. She licked her lips. She wore a very nice rose-pink lipstick that was the only splash of color. Even her clothes and shoes were white. Pale horse, pale rider.
Well,
she said.
That's where the story gets really strange.
Strange how?
He, David, my ex-husband, changed after I filed for divorce. He's like a different person. Before, when I first met him, he was a very fastidious man, always dressed nicely, always very clean and well-groomed.
What's he do for a living?
He owns a nightclub, The Crypt, just off South Street.
I know it, but that's a goth club, right? Is he goth?
No, not at all. He bought the club from the former owner, but he remodeled it after the Batcave.
As in Batman?
As in the London club that was kind of the prototype of pretty much the whole goth club scene. David's a businessman. There's a strong goth crowd downtown, and they hang together, but the clubs in Philly aren't big enough to turn a big profit, and not near big enough to attract the better bands. So he bought the 2 adjoining buildings and expanded out. He made a small-time club into a very successful main-stage club, and he keeps the music current. A lot of post-punk stuff, but also the newer styles. Dark cabaret, death rock, gothabilly, that sort of thing. Low lights, black-tile bathrooms, bartenders who look like ghouls.
Okay, I said.
But this was all business to David. He didn't dress goth. I mean, he wore black suits or black silk shirts to work, but he didn't dye his hair, didn't wear eyeliner. Funny thing is, even though he was clearly not buying into the lifestyle, the patrons loved him. They called him the Prince, as in Prince of...
Darkness. Yeah, got it. Go on.
David was more fussy getting ready to go out than I ever was. Spent forever in the bathroom shaving, fixing his hair. Always took him longer to pick out his clothes than me, or any of my girlfriends.
He gay?
No.
And she shot me a, wow, what a stereotypically homophobic thing to say, sort of look. I smiled. I'm just trying to get a read on him. Fastidious guy having trouble with a relationship with his wife. Drinking problem, flashes of violence. Not a gay thing, but I've seen it before in guys who are sexually conflicted and at war with themselves and the world because of it. She studied me for a moment.
You used to be a cop, Mr. Hunter?
Call me Sam, I said. And yeah, I was a cop. Minneapolis PD.
A detective?
Yep.
Okay.
That seemed to mollify her. I gestured to her to continue. She took a breath.
Well, toward the end of our relationship, David stopped being so fastidious. He would go 2 or 3 days without shaving. I know that doesn't sound like the end of the world, but I never saw David without a fresh shave. Never. He carried an electric razor in his briefcase, had another at home and one in the office at the club. Clothes, too. Before, he'd sometimes change clothes twice or even